Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of NASCAR Heat 5 Career Mode here on the channel. I hope you're all having a great day. Today it's the second race of the round of 8 and arguably the hardest race maybe of the playoffs. It's the Darlington Raceway Southern 500 where we come in not the perfect situation. We had a really rough first race of this round after being so consistent all playoff long. We enter Darlington 8 points below the cut line, Chastain 5 below. You see the rest of the drivers there with Elliott and Blaney as well out, with Gibbs, Larson, Bell all being in. William Byron winning in Dover to lock himself into the next round of the playoffs. And of course the most important round, the Final Four, fighting for a championship. You saw Denny Hamlin's got a throwback scheme this weekend on his car here in Darlington, a track that Denny Hamlin has had so much success at in the past. A winless season in his final season of full-time Cup Series competition. On his podcast earlier in the week, he had some brave or maybe bold remarks for this upcoming weekend.
I'm calling it right now, Jarrett. I'm going to go win this weekend. Mark my words.
Hamlin says it. I am going to go win this weekend in Darlington. Our Joe Gibbs Racing teammate, of course, the only one that didn't make the playoffs. He missed the playoffs because he didn't win a race. Can he finally pull it off here at a track he's had lots of success at in the past? We'll have to wait and see. As practice overall, the car was feeling okay. I mean, we come in below the cut line. We haven't been used to having this scenario. It's been such a good season. Of course, a bit of a slow start to the season, but of course it's turned into 5 wins and just a tremendous amount of success, especially the first round. But the second round, we were nice and consistent. But Dover just did not go the way it needed to go. Hopefully Darlington will be the race that brings us back into a situation where we need to be in, 8 points is nothing to be too concerned about after one race, but the question is, what is it going to look like following Darlington here as we get through turns 1 and 2 without really any issue in qualifying, rolling down into turn 3, getting it close to that white line, going a little bit up the track there in the center of the corner, try to push it back down, and then of course open up the wheel on exit out of turn 4 to the line. What is it going to be? It will be a 29.350, and that will put us row 5 outside P10. Quite happy with that for the Southern 500 effort. As we'll see on pole positions, Kyle Larson with Ross Chastain joining him on the front row, Tyler Reddick, Ty Gibbs, as well as Elliott in the top 5. Denny Hamlin only P13 after calling this shot, so already not looking the best as we get ready to roll into the racing action. Christopher Bell a little ways down the order as well, so not good for him in his playoff situation, but he has a good buffer coming into this race. Ryan Newman at the back of the grid. We did have some Xfinity Series action this weekend as well. Brandon Jones would actually pick up the victory from Homestead Miami, and Rajan Carruth, who picked up the win last episode, backs it up with a second place. So just after getting announced into the Hendrick Motorsports 48, he has suddenly been on fire with a team that is not known for running that well. As well, Jesse Love, William Sawalich with really good efforts as well to increase their chances of making the Final Four. In the Final Four, playoff grid is a complete washout. So Jones is locked in with the win. Sawalich is 89 points above the cut line. Justin Allgaier 56 and Love 44. I don't have to do it manually now because the drivers that we had to put in manually are already out of the playoffs, so the game is now correct again here. Now as we focus in though on some Darlington Southern 500 racing in the second race of the round of 8.
Race 2 of the round of 8 is ready to kick off from Darlington Raceway under the lights for the Southern 500. Big names come into tonight below the cut line, including Ross Chastain, Chase Elliott, Gary Owen and Ryan Blaney.
Every name here is a big name at this point. Whoever gets eliminated will be a surprise. Owen probably being the biggest.
Many have him going all the way to winning the title this year, so it would be a huge shock to see him out of this round. Tonight will set the tone. Let's see what happens.
All right, boys, obviously not what we needed there in Dover, but a track I like, a track we've been pretty well at so far in our first season. Of course, earlier in the year, I don't see why we can't have a nice, top 5, top 10 tonight.
Yep, I'm right there with you, mate. Stay after it all night. Don't be afraid to get aggressive.
These are the most 2 important races now of our season, Darlington and the next episode in Homestead Miami, of course the elimination race to the round of 8. We will have live playoff updates coming at the end of both stages to see where everyone is stacking up going into the new stage, the next stage, etc. Now as we get ready to roll, how about Todd Gilliland in the number 34 up here, future Penske driver as well, as we get ready to go racing. We're green from Darlington. It's going to be a very long one here, so settle settle in. I hope you guys are ready for some lengthy racing. Now, of course, one of the longest races on the NASCAR calendar. It is a grueling, patient, but at the same time, you got to be aggressive kind of race here. Now, under the lights in this Southern 500, Larson leads the way out of turn number 2 down this back straightaway. Larson and Christopher Bell have been kind of the two names that have been so strong so far in the last round. How about Denny Hamlin already into the top 10? He is very quickly moving forward, and seeing that pace right there, that number 11 immediately goes into a driver that's a threat tonight. Hamlin called a shot on his podcast. He is going to win this race. Can he get a proper send-off with a win in his final season of full-time Cup Series competition? Joey Logano up there. We already mentioned Todd Gilliland. How about the 6 of Brad Keselowski, of course, eliminated early in the playoffs, but Kyle Larson seems to be lacking pace. Ross Chastain went and passed Kyle Larson for the lead around the outside. Kyle Busch would eventually work his way up a few positions into second place. Denny Hamlin's now up into about 7th position, so he is moving his way forward, but Kyle Larson, he's going in the wrong direction, so not looking the greatest. You can see him, he's already down to about 5th place. Elliott's as well gotten in front. Keselowski's now passing him. Hamlin's up the inside as well, so Larson clearly going in the wrong direction. He's now dropped to P8, even passed by Gilliland as I pass Reddick for P10 on just lap 6 of 39. A lot of laps to go still in stage 1. Of course, the pit stop going to be mandatory, but you see right here, we have run down Logano, we have run down Larson as well. And Larson, I mean, comes into this race with a decent buffer. Of course, he is in a solid position 3 in the Final 4 situation, so not a huge concern. Maybe if he runs like an average of 10th to 15th here tonight, depending on what the, of course, other playoff drivers do. But we have passed Logano, and now we're looking for a pass on Larson. I couldn't make the outside work, so I got down to the inside. Kyle Busch takes over the lead from his Trackhouse teammate, by the way, of Ross Chastain. So that number 99, another driver, of course, legendary in the Cup Series, winless on the season. So could we see him go to victory lane tonight over instead of Denny Hamlin? But Denny Hamlin was as well joining the club. He was up now into the top 5. So Hamlin is definitely looking strong, but I don't know if he's going to be as strong as that 99 car. Kyle Busch is looking very, very quick early on. Maybe hard to beat. Chase Elliott's going the wrong direction as well. He's now down to P7, losing a spot there to Todd Gilliland. And as you can see, as these laps are going on, closing in at about the halfway point of stage 1, we're reeling in these guys, so I'm quite confident right now with the pace. A little bit of a slide right there. I mean, this car, the way the track is, it's going to slide around a little bit here and there, but we're just continuing to run down cars. That's actually not Chase Elliott, that's Ross Chastain. That rear bumper looked a little bit similar to the 9, but no, it's the number 1. A new jockey scheme on that car. Actually, Tyler Tinsley whipped it up. Looks absolutely flawless, as all his schemes do, but we're running down that number 1, and now looking for a move to the rear bumper. He covers it off. Okay, we'll swing over to the left now to the inside, up into turn number 3. Kyle Busch continues to lead, but we already see some pit stops kicking off. Keselowski coming into the pits. We have learned we want to extend this as far as we can, and that's what we're going to do. Todd Gilliland now pitting. Denny Hamlin in as well. We have got lap traffic into the mix. That's the 31 car. We know we need to be careful with the 31. We slip to the inside. It's going to be an easy pass as we continue to follow Chastain. And I was deciding, okay, we're probably going to do what the 1 car does here. So if he pits this lap, which he's not going to, because there's smoke pouring out of a car in front of us, that's the 4 of Josh Berry. A future Kaulig Racing driver blows a tire into turn 3. The caution will come out for the first time here tonight, and drivers that just came into the pit lane, well, they have benefited quite well. They're going to be able to stay out, complete their pit stops, maintain the lead lap, so they're going to gain a bunch of track positions. Some guys will get stuck a lap down, as you can see, but yeah, I mean, you can see the cars that don't have to pit. Denny Hamlin's going to be up front, so we end up giving up only a couple of spots, 6 positions of a loss, as it's going to be Elliott, the first car on tires, Kyle Busch, then myself and Ross Chastain. We beat him out of the pits, but now it puts us P11 for the restart. All those cars in front of us, in front of Elliott, basically, they were all able to do their pit stops under the yellow flag and get out and keep their lead lap position, leapfrog all of us now. Denny Hamlin, we know he has a quick car, but we know it's not quite as quick as Kyle Busch, who has the best car here tonight. But Kyle Busch is now back here in traffic a little bit. It's going to take that 99 some time to go forward, especially if he's stuck on the outside lane. There's 2311, number 67 of Trevor Bayne. This is his final start of the season now, as we look to the inside, making a bold 3-wide move on Chase Elliott into turn 1. We wash up into the left front. He slides, contact, he saves it.
Everything about him, man. That's the second time in the playoffs.
extended apology, please. Just like earlier in the playoffs, that was not what I wanted to do. Elliott hasn't forgotten the first time. I haven't either. That was not what my intention was. We just kind of used him up now as we go to the outside of Ryan Blaney, who stayed out there, or was able to stay out, but he is struggling tonight, and I'm struggling. I'm into the outside wall in turn 1 now, and breezing past Eric Jones as well. Christopher Bell, Chris Busher, Chase Briscoe. We dropped to 14th place, just putting myself in the wall all on my own. And now we continue on the outside, and now here comes Kyle Larson to our inside. I would let him go into turn number 1. We'll slide down in front of the 48 of Corey LaJoy. Chase Elliott's really lost some track position. More trouble. The 31 of Josh Williams blows it right front into the outside wall. The caution's going to come out for a second time here in stage number 1. Everybody stays out though, so we stack them back up and get ready to immediately go back to racing here. Kyle Busch now down to 19th. He's gone backwards. Elliott's gone backwards from myself. I've gone backwards as well. The first 3 cars that were on those new tires are the ones that have gone in the wrong direction. 7 laps to go here in stage number 1. Behind that 5 Wawa number, or Camaro I should say, of Kyle Larson. Now as we roll through turn 1, Hamlin leads. Sammy Smith inside the top 5. Gilliland's up there as well. And you can see how about Christopher Bell with the rebound drive he's had, as we're going to look to the inside of the 5, but Bell qualified pretty bad outside the top 20, and he comes into this race above the cut line, but I mean doing himself some good favors here. Even if he doesn't get stage points, he's setting himself up well for the long term in this race here. Now as we roll through turn 1, not a lot of playoff presence in the top 10. Only one driver that's in the playoffs is in the top 10 right now, and that's our teammate of Ty Gibbs. But myself and Christopher Bell, we continue battling. You look behind, and in our mirror, Kyle Busch is back. He is coming through this field again and trying to work his way forward. I was trying to be a bit patient at this point here. 3 laps to go, and we don't want to do something that's going to get us into too much trouble here. We just made that big move that really screwed over Elliott, but I decide, okay, we gotta go. We need to try and get stage points, so we go for a lunge into turn 3, 3 wide with Busher and our teammate of Bell. A bit of contact there. We roughed the 17 out of the way, but the 20 has the run on the top. We continue. P10, P11, Chastain into the mix as well. We'll settle in right here behind the 20 of Bell into turn 1, and we're wheel to wheel with the number 1 jockey machine, washing up the track. A little bit of contact there with Chastain. Tight again through 1 out of 2. Contact into the wall. Around we go.
Huge crash. And it's Owen hard into the inside wall.
This is unbelievable. Title favorite with a terribly timed crash, guys. This is big.
I got it rolling. I mean, we got damaged, but I mean, that was all on me. I don't know what I was doing there. Just got too tight.
Okay, we can fix it, but we're going to lose a lap doing it. Bring it to us.
So for the first time in a while, we have to go to our custom damage policy of the NASCAR Heat 5 career mode. 10 to 15 seconds of damage means we give up 1 lap on track. And then 16 towards 20 is 2 laps. And then beyond that, we do a manual DNF. So we're going to give up stage points. We're going to give up a lap. And they're going to go back racing with Denny Hamlin and Eric Jones leading the field for stage number 2. A huge shunt from myself, and this could have dire consequences on our championship hopes. You see the updated playoff grid. The order remains the same in terms of drivers, but the gaps are a bit different. Gibbs, the only playoff driver getting points, but he was the last driver in the final 4, so that hurts us. Chastain, 13 points out. Myself now 16 points out after stage number 1. 26 for Elliott and 30 for Ryan Blaney. The field coming around one time in stage 2 means we're going to get back on the racetrack. Hamlin rolling past. We're just heading back on the racetrack now. We've got the car fixed, but the damage is done, quite literally. That was a mistake that I've made before in this very career mode series. You think back to, I think it was our rookie season with Colleague Racing at this track, and it was like a Clemson car, a college football car. I don't watch football, but I remember we ran that car, and I made the exact same error and crashed myself. So we're now 1 lap down, racing for a free pass position. We can absolutely do this, but to get stage points in stage 2, I would say we pretty well have eliminated that opportunity as well at this point, and that's the big problem. Now, we were in position to get stage points in stage 1, well, we took ourselves out of that, and we've taken ourselves out of it in stage 2. That could be huge. Now, as I'm actually getting blocked by my rival, the 31 car, and of course, I'm not trying to do anything stupid at this point now. I've already used up the 9 car. I've already, ran the 1 car into the wall, wrecked myself doing it. As we roll down into turn 1, we clear that 31, as we're just hoping it stays green long enough to get to a lucky dog position, which I believe is right there. The 21 of Zane Smith. He's second in line. to Austin Cindric, who is the free pass, and I would pass Smith and get to Cindric for the free pass position on the run down towards turn 3. Alex Bowman kind of slow right in front of us, but crash. Bubba Wallace goes around in the middle of 3 and 4. That's going to eliminate the free pass for us there just before we pass it to a big stack up. And the caution flies. Wallace blows a tire. He will pit. He will remain in the race. We don't get the free pass. It goes to the 2 of Austin Cindric. But now we're at least in position to get it ourselves. I decided actually to pit because there was a few other guys doing it, and we're not really going to lose anything. We just have to pass that 21 right there. The one problem is we are starting on the outside of the 31, but although this is now quickly turned into a disaster, now more problems on the restart. Cars slow after that big incident with Wallace there. That's a big stack up in the midfield as we roll down into turn 1, but I'm not hitting the panic button quite yet. I mean, yeah, we're 16 points below the cut line after that just epic failure in stage number 1. I am still confident we can get something decent at least out of this, but it's going to kind of come down to what the 54 of Gibbs does. Larson right now doesn't seem to have the car to run in the points. Christopher Bell's hit or miss. He might get a point or two. And then, of course, William Byron, he does not matter. He's already won. He's going into the Final Four at Las Vegas Motor Speedway this season, as we are just taking our time here, knowing the situation. Bubba Wallace on his way forward. He's on the lead lap, so it doesn't matter. He is not really a threat to us right now, as we're up the inside of the 31 on this front straightaway. That puts us in 35th place. Still 28 to go in stage number 2. Making an aggressive 3-wide move now up the inside of the 16 into turn number 3. I should point out that the free pass position is right there, the 21 of Zane Smith now. All we got to do is pass that 21, and we just, well, at that point are in need of a caution, just looking for a caution, because I'm certainly not going to be able to unlap myself the hard way, which is passing Kyle Busch, who's actually worked his way back to the front. Kyle Busch has such a fast race car tonight, which is what maybe Denny Hamlin was not anticipating, but we're in the free pass position now, so we know a caution is either going to come before the end of the stage, and it might be right here. Smoke in front. Who is that? It's the 14. Briscoe for Stewart Haas Racing. Smoke pouring out of the back, but no caution. NASCAR is going to keep it green, so we get hard on the gas. Blaney going to get stuck behind him. Ryan Blaney's had a miserable start to this round as well. He is putting himself in a must-win scenario going into Homestead, Miami in the next episode now, but we are still looking for that caution, then passing William Byron. He's having a pretty mediocre night, but he doesn't care. He's already got that win. You know that 24 team is fully focused on Las Vegas, so I'm not surprised that they aren't running great tonight, and I wouldn't be surprised if they ran a bit rough in Homestead, Miami in the next episode as well here. Now 20 to go in stage 2, and that caution is still not coming. There it is. The 47 of Corey Heim goes around on the exit at turn 4. The 31 gets a piece of it as well, but the caution flies. The free pass is ours. We can come into the pits. We will have to go to the back of the field anyways, and we'll get 4 tires and just mainly hit the reset button. Corey LaJoie loses 20 spots in the pit lane, so something went very wrong for that number 48, but this is what we needed, a caution to reset. Now, unfortunately, it only leaves us 15 laps to go in stage 2, so obviously a good bit of work to be done. 15 laps to go from 33rd to 10th at a track like Darlington. It's going to be difficult, and I was really just focusing in on the fact that, yeah, it's likely not going to happen. Instead, we're just going to kind of put our focus into just setting ourselves up to the best of our abilities going into stage number 3. Not the situation we want to find ourselves in, but it's a situation that we've put ourselves in, as Kyle Busch continues to lead the way in that number 99 Trackhouse Chevrolet Camaro. We're to the inside of Ryan Blaney, 3 wide with him in the 21 of Zane Smith. Alex Bowman right here as well. We know he's going to Richard Childress Racing next season in this career mode. Childress has sucked all year long, but with Kevin Harvick and Austin Dillon going into the management and ownership role, I do think we could see RCR kind of go in a shift and start to find their strides, but it would certainly not be early on. It would be something that's going to take, I think, a majority of next season for that team to really start to show what they can do if they are able to succeed under Harvick and Austin Dillon's ownership and whatnot here. Now 9 laps to go in stage 2, and we have gotten up to 25th. So yeah, it takes a while. It takes patience, of course, to make some overtakes happen here in Darlington. We would run down Austin Hill. We'd pass him, passing Connor Zilish as well. Zilish likely to be maybe actually racing potentially for the Andretti team next season. Rumors are starting to circulate about him. He hasn't won in the Xfinity Series, but as a rookie, he has shown quite a bit of promise in development as the season has gone, and he has got an undeniable talent that Andretti's just kind of wanting to hop on and make sure they don't lose that opportunity. We'll have to wait and see what happens, though, as we're up to P21 behind John Hunter Nemechek, actually into the back of him a little bit, but we would get past him, and here's now Trevor Bayne having a solid run for 23.11. Look at the track map. Kyle Busch in control, actually. Caution's going to fly. Ryan Newman into the outside wall, and that's going to end stage number 2 a few laps early. What doesn't help us was Ty Gibbs again gets 6 points in stage 2. While we got none. And Ty Gibbs is the guy that we're trying to beat for the final spot currently in the final 4. So it's not going to be looking good going into stage 3. We have to focus in on beating that 54 somehow. And in the live playoff update, we lose 3 spots in the pit lane as well. I had to repair a little bit of damage. So let's look at the live playoff update. So Christopher Bell, P2 in the playoff grid right now, 28 points above the cut line. Kyle Larson, 20 points above. Gibbs now with an 18-point advantage. And it's Ross Chastain, the first one out by those 18 points. We are now 22 points below the cut line, as Elliott is 28 below, 35 for Ryan Blaney. We can still make up 22 points in a race and a stage here in Darlington, but we don't want to be entering Homestead, Miami, 20 points or more below the cut line. That would just not be ideal. It's not possible to recover from. It's just certainly not easy to recover from now, as I would kind of treat that, honestly, if I'm more than 20 points below the cut line following this race because of my own mistakes, I'm going to be really disappointed. But on top of that, just focusing in on Miami as a must-win scenario type race here now, as we are trying to work our way forward. We pass Trevor Bayne, we pass Daniel Suarez, having a decent run here for Meyershank Racing tonight under the lights in Darlington now. Sounds like potentially his ride could be at risk already in that Meyershank machine for a current Ford driver. We'll have to wait and see what happens there. Passing Shane Van Gisbergen now up the inside into turn number 3. A very quiet race here for Shane, but we pass him for 19th place on lap 87, coming to 88 now. Lap 89, you can see we have continued to reel in our future teammate here in the number 18 car. It will be next season, Chandler Smith. We'll look to the inside of him into turn 3, having another solid run here today. I think Chandler Smith is going to do good things at Joe Gibbs Racing next season. I think we're going to have a very stacked team of young drivers now as we clear that 13. Kyle Busch again in control. He had to, of course, make up a lot of track position earlier in the race here. Now, as we have run down Carson Hocevar, we'll look to the inside of that number 26. Bubba Wallace again into turn 3. Crashes for the second time tonight. Todd Gilliland going to get a piece of it. Reddick as well as Larson get a little bit of involvement there. And the caution flies for the first time here in stage 3. But most interestingly, we're going to see some split strategy, as you see some drivers electing to pit, some drivers electing to stay out. Pitting is all the top 4. Kyle Busch, Eric Jones, Hamlin, Busher. I decide let's come in as well for 4 tires and fill it up on field. And by the end of this caution sequence, you can see a lot of the field has elected to pit, but there's still that good size group of cars that are electing to stay out. So we end up here in P19. We lose a couple of positions. Now we're going to be lining up behind the 45, which is a bit of concern there. He was involved in that accident there with his teammate of Bubba Wallace, and sure enough, the 45 doesn't go. We're going to pull out a line now, though. This is going to be fair game. He's just not going, but that's going to hurt us quite significantly with 34 to go. Ty Gibbs is back here with us. That helps us a bit. Chase Elliott currently, he stayed out. Leads the way now. Hamlin and Kyle Busch, those are the 2. What can they do, as we are right on the fuel window, but we should be actually, we're going to be a bit short as we actually run into the back of the 20. We have 22 laps of fuel. So I think really now looking at it, why did we all pit? Because the guys that stayed out cannot make it but we cannot make it either. But we can go a little bit further now as it's time to get aggressive. We use up the 43 of Jones, kind of just muscled our way in there, said, hey, I gotta go, I need points. That was a really silly move on my part, but we're kind of in a desperation situation now where we know we need points, but we got ourselves up on the outside behind the 38 of Riley Herbst, trying to go forward now. Kyle Busch, the fastest car all night long, stuck in traffic behind the 21 of Zane Smith. Hamlin's working his way forward without much issue at all, and if it stays green until the end, it's going to be hard for Kyle Busch to go and find a way to victory lane. Now we're going to give a huge shot to the back of the 38, push him all the way clear of the 21 into turn 1. We know that's going to help us, and we just continue to follow Eric Jones just behind myself. Elliott continues to lead. We clear Zane Smith, but Kyle Busch is going backwards quickly now to the outside of the 38. We're going to pass him and clear him on this backstretch into turn 3. We now set our sights on SVG and the 8 of Austin Hill. Those two, of course, great friends in the Xfinity series in real life, as we have run down again Ty Gibbs, who's going to look to the inside of William Byron. This is the guy we need to beat, or a guy like Christopher Bell, Kyle Larson as well, but specifically Ty Gibbs, who's the closest in points to us that we can get into the Final Four off of. As we look to the inside of Chandler Smith, you see Gibbs driving away. However, we pass the 13, looking to the inside as well. Trevor Bayne, we've now made it past lap 100, and Denny Hamlin has worked his way to the lead. Kyle Busch has had nowhere close to the success of the number 11 in this run, and it's all Hamlin now in control. Can he hang on? Will we stay caution free? It's happened before, but I don't think it's going to happen again here now. A little over 25 laps to go, and now to the outside of Carson Hocevar. There's Larson for P10, but we've done a good job working our way back forward into 11th place. But the problem for us is Gibbs is driving away now as we look to the inside of the 5. Eric Jones is marching his way forward. He's run well all race long. He's as well led some laps in this race. We know Eric Jones loves this track here in Darlington, but we'll clear the number 5 of Larson, the furthest away in terms of points. He's really not the main objective right now, but here comes Eric Jones coming to lap 105. He's going to pass me on the exit of turn 4. That 43 for Legacy Motor Club is absolutely flying here tonight. He's kind of categorized right there with the 11 of Hamlin. They're like the second and third quickest cars compared to Kyle Busch, but Busch still in traffic. He's P13 right now. He's been working his way forward, but it's been slow and steady, while Hamlin did it so quick, and now he's just in cruise control. 8 seconds up the road from myself, which puts 11 seconds to Busch, but it doesn't matter. Caution's gonna fly due to the 42 of John Hunter Nemechek blowing a tire. Everybody's gonna come into the pits, including us, to make sure we can make it. We're gonna do 2 tires, 1 can of fuel. 1 can of fuel is all we need to make it. So I'm hoping that 2 tires is the right way to go, and it isn't. Byron Herbst, stay on the racetrack. We are P3, the first car on 2 tires, as we have a bit of a slow restart as well. The car does not take off. You look behind, you got the 17 and the 6, the RFK Ford Mustangs of Buescher as well as Kozlowski. Hamlin was able to get clear of me then into turn number 1. He pounces on his opportunity there of me being slow on the restart, and now Hamlin into second place, but we might be in trouble because everybody behind us took 4 tires. Now, you would think after all these years of playing the game, I could figure out the strategy, but less than 20 laps ago, I figured it was a no-brainer for 2 tires. I was wrong. We go way up the track. Kozlowski, Elliott go through. There goes Sammy Smith, and here comes, most importantly, the 54 of Ty Gibbs. 16 laps to go, and now we know we need a caution desperately so we can come back in, throw 4 tires on it, and try to march our way back forward and see what we can do. Basically, damage control. Byron's drifting backwards as well. We know that 24 does not really care here tonight in Darlington. They're just doing whatever. Hamlin's driving away now as here comes the 17, capitalizing on just me not able to get the car down on the white line due to the tires. Kyle Busch goes through now on the inside. Here comes a 20 of Christopher Bell in P9, as now we're battling with the 48 of Corey LaJoy, who comes around my outside. A great run from this number 48 as well. Tyler Reddick filling up my rear view mirror, desperately hoping for a caution as we roll through out of turn 2, and the 48 cruising up to the back bumper of his teammate there in the number 24. Now actually a bit of a shot to the back of the 48. He's stacked up on my nose, and he breezes up into the outside of the 48 sliding. He saves it, but he stopped on my nose halfway down the back straightaway there. I don't know exactly what he was expecting me to do. Smoke from a car in front of us, and it's Sammy Smith for the Andretti team. Caution is out. We desperately needed that in what has been a terrible, rough, and upsetting night so far.
Okay, I know it's a disaster tonight, but I need you to stay calm, get every spot you can get me here.
Oh, what a disaster, guys. I mean, we're so for next week, aren't we? I don't know what to even say. It's been a disaster. 33rd, and yeah, Dover I thought was bad. This has been double as bad as Dover has been now. We are back green. It's only 10 laps to go. Denny Hamlin leads Kyle Busch closer, of course, than he was before that caution, but still has to make some passes. We have to make some passes as well. We need to go as far forward as we possibly can. We were 10th, 11th, 12th area when we got that caution, so that's kind of what we want to do at the bare minimum to say, okay, we made the right call pitting for 4 tires, but I think no matter what, if we stayed out on the 2 tires, we were going to continue to go in the wrong direction. So we needed to make this call as we roll through turn 3, clearing the 47 of Corey Heim. Now as we look to the inside of Alex Bowman, Hamlin continues to lead the way, but Kyle Busch is working his way forward now. We're up to P25 on the inside of Connor Zilish, to the inside of the 8th of Austin Hill. Suarez, Ryan Blaney just in front of us as well. That 12's had a disaster, but he's up to P21 now, and John Hunter Nemechek brought out one of those recent cautions. Well, now we'll pass him down this back straightaway into turn number 3. Hamlin still leads by several car lengths now over second place of Chase Elliott, who's having a great run in this final stage to give himself some hope going into Miami. Hamlin leads. There's Elliott, Kozlowski, Buescher. Kyle Busch is coming. He's to the inside now of the 17 of Buescher as they come through 1 and out of turn 2. Busch up into 4th position. He would clear the 17 down the back straightaway. Can Busch get to Hamlin? 2 legendary drivers. One right now leading in his final season, trying to end a over season long winless streak. Kyle Busch, it's been over a season since he's won as well. Both of these drivers want to go out winning in this season. We know Busch, of course, is going to be returning to competition next season. Busch passes Chase Elliott, who now is down to 4th. Elliott was 2nd, got passed by Kozlowski, and now Busch. Kyle Busch just has 1 car in between himself and Denny Hamlin now. Can he get there? The answer is yes, to the inside of the 6, and Busch makes the pass for 2nd. Kyle Busch to P2. He is running down the FedEx Toyota Camry of Denny Hamlin in his final season. Can he hold on a track he's had so much success at, a track he loves dearly? He's got 5 laps to maintain pace on that number 99. We're up into P15, leaning a little bit on the door of the 13 of Chandler Smith, but we'll clear him on the exit of turn 2, running down the closer cars in front of us. Hamlin now a few laps to go. You see Busch getting closer, but not close enough to attack. 4 laps remain in this race. Now, Tyler Reddick, Kyle Larson, our closest drivers that we will run down here within the next lap, hopefully within this next corner. Now is Chastain just up the road as well, but it's always going to be passing playoff contenders. Couldn't quite get the car to turn off the wall there, so we actually helped the 5 down this back straightaway, pushing him back alongside the 45 into turn 3. Here we go to the inside. Hamlin still leads with 3 laps to go. He is holding off Kyle Busch. Busch is closing, but he's not quite close enough right now to make a move. Speaking of moves, a move to the inside of the 45 of Reddick after passing the 5 of Kyle Larson as we go down into turn number 3. We'll clear the 45 with ease. Can we get to Chastain, Logano, and Christopher Bell before this race is over? 2 laps to go for Denny Hamlin, and it's all in his hands now. Can the 99 do anything as he's running out of time? 2 more times around this Darlington Raceway for one of the most prestigious races in NASCAR Cup Series competition. White flag in the air. We've run down the number 1. Hamlin just needs to hang on for 1 more series of corners. We're right to the back of the 1 of Chastain. Every point matters. We want it to the inside of the number 1 down this back straightaway. It's going to be wheel to wheel into turn 3, but we're going to have to stack up here behind the 22 of Joey Logano. Denny Hamlin, however, leads by a car length. He hangs on. Hamlin called his shot, and he wins in Darlington in his final season. It's a drag race to the line with Chastain, who barely gets us, and we sacrifice 12th and settle for 13th. In a disappointing turn of events, this race became to be. Hamlin gets the win finally in his final season. Kyle Busch, what could have been, he had the best car all night, but he lost track position when it mattered most, and he suffers the price. So we see the finishing order on the screens. I mean, William Byron, it didn't matter where he finished, but a solid night for Christopher Bell, a great night for Ty Gibbs. A mediocre night for Kyle Larson is going to put him actually at the bottom of the final 4, and we'll take a look at that playoff grid. So Ryan Blaney, a terrible night. He's 47 below. He has to win in Miami. Chastain, 18 back from Larson. Elliott, 21 back. Myself, 23. All three of us, I mean, can realistically point our way in, but it's going to be really hard. I didn't really expect us to be in this position. This was a round I was looking forward to, and I knew it was still going to be a challenging round, but it has been a total disaster, and obviously we need to turn it around in Miami desperately. Larson, Gibbs, Bell, currently the 3 drivers joining William Byron in the final 4. That's 2 Hendrick, 2 Gibbs cars. Let's see what we can do in Miami. It's not over yet. 23 points, the disadvantage we go in, we can find a way to get those points. I see you guys then in Miami. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.